informational items, and we'll have Sharon back here shortly. Let's see, can I get a, oh, we have to do that. Okay, so do we have anybody here from the circuit clerk's office? No? All right, we'll move on to the coroner. Nobody? Well, this will move quicker than anticipated. Should have looked at that. ETSB. Guess you're first up today. Do you want to check your mic?
There, is that better? Our Peoria and Bartonville dispatches are running well. Everything seems to be going fine with them. The Stark County Dispatch Center is almost complete. The building, I mean, I should clarify that. The building is almost complete. We are 2 weeks out of doing our walkthrough. And then we will be putting in the guts to the facility, and hopefully by the end of the second quarter we'll be up and running, but that's a good hope. So, anybody have any questions?
I assume everyone has been pretty overworked and exhausted the last few days with the crazy weather we've had.
Yeah, there's a lot going on right now.
Well, thank them from all of us.
Yeah.
And any other questions? I don't think so. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. I'll see you quarterly.
Sounds good. All right. No problem. Can I get a motion to approve those calling in? I've got Rob and Steve. Thank you. Also, all in favor? Aye. Right. And we have Member Phelan and Member Elsasser? Yes. Okay, on the phone.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, can I get a motion to approve the minutes from January 3rd? Oh, thank you. Nate and Member Ricker, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, ayes have it. We will skip back down on our informational items to our PCAPS monthly update. And we'll blow through that one too. Thank you, Public Defender Report.
Good afternoon, everyone. Again, Kevin Lowe with the Public Defender's Office. And I'll make it short and sweet. I've been Public Defender now for about 11 months. I've addressed this committee 7 to 8 times, and for the first time, I can honestly say I have nothing to report. All right, it's a status quo. I reported to you guys about 3 weeks ago, and our numbers remain the same. We have 19 total attorneys, 5 of which are full-time, the remainder of the other 14 being independent contractors. We continue our search. I have received a few resumes, so there is some good news, and I've been talking to a few people. So perhaps the next time I report to you, which I understand is actually going to move to a quarterly basis. I received an email from Scott Sorrell about that.
Unless needed earlier, sure.
But I'm hoping then in about 3 months' time, I will have some good news to report. So thank you very much. Unless you have any questions, that's all for me.
I believe Member Ricker, do you have a question?
Yeah, I would, and thank you for the regular updates, and if we do quarterly, I'm fine. Your predecessor, one of the questions that I probably continue to ask was, do we have some metrics on the Public Defender's Office on the number of cases open, closed, kind of, is the workload going up, down? And I'm not looking for a huge lot of data, more of a summary that would say, how's it going? Are you able to keep up with the workload and the demand? And are there things as a committee we should be aware of? So otherwise, I don't really have an insight to how the demand and the progress within your office is going. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does make sense, and this is something that I know we talked about in the summer, and I keep promises, right? It's important to have metrics. Caseloads are very cyclical. They go up, they go down, and generally, there's not very much fluctuation in it. But yes, you're absolutely right. If you don't have an actual number, then you just say what it is. From my perspective, it's very much a hands-on approach. I go to the individual courtrooms, I see what's going on, and we can tell whether or not we're understaffed or if we have enough people. So I generally just go to the courtrooms and look what's happening to base my decisions on. But you, as an oversight committee and a board, obviously you need more than that. You need more than just my report, and we're certainly working on that. And that's something that I hope to have to you. Once again, I know I've said this before, but with my upcoming reports, and I hope to be filing that, if not on a quarterly basis, perhaps on a monthly basis. I hope to do that. It's something that we should be capable of with our current case management system, which is the Odyssey system through Tyler. I think some of the delay in part has been that with the transition from Judge Bach, the former chief public defender, he had been running some reports and gave me some detailed instructions. But when I attempted to replicate what he had done, I was unable to replicate the numbers he was getting. So I questioned the actual procedure that we were using. And last week, in fact, and this is actually very timely, because last week we had a representative from Tyler come in to the public defender's office and sit down with us, specifically with the idea of more training with the system to be able to generate those types of reports on demand. And I specifically referenced to that representative that, look, I need to provide to the county board and to the Safety and Justice Committee some actual numbers. Importantly, I think per division, I'd like to break it down: felony cases, criminal cases, juvenile cases, traffic, major traffic, divorce, juvenile abuse and neglect, and juvenile delinquency cases. Misdemeanor is also subdivided into domestic violence. And I'd like to take those subcategories and, like, at the very least, to provide to you the number of cases per month that are filed in each of those divisions, and of those, the number that are given to the public defender's office. And those cases, the number that we are appointed, so you can have at least a percentage that we're handling. And hopefully then also I'd be able to generate a percentage of the cases that have been closed out. So that's the goal, certainly, and I'm aware of it, and very good question.
And again, I don't want to pretend to understand all of the details in your organization. I look at more at a high level of, we're an organization that does public service. We serve the public. You have a specific area. You serve the public. How well are we doing? Are we keeping up? Are we meeting expectations? Are we exceeding expectations? Kind of on a high level, are we meeting what the public expects us to do as a servant to the public? Just at a high level. However you want to define that and measure that, it's really your prerogative to communicate that to not just us, but to the broader public of how's the Public Defender's Office doing serving our public.
I do think that information, that data would be interesting. I would question, I think, and maybe we can talk further, Member Ricker, about who we have within our organization to analyze that data and tell us what that means. I think that's almost the bigger question, is what do these numbers as they ebb and flow, what does it mean to us as a bigger organization? So we can talk about that. But when you have that capacity, it would be interesting to see how those numbers evolve. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you. All right, we will move on to our one resolution. Can I get a motion to include the state's attorney's office appellate prosecutor authorization? Member Renault and Member Hare. Thank you. All in favor? I guess you wanted to. Yeah.
This is an annual appropriation that comes in front of the board, and the Peoria County State's Attorney's Office participates along with many other counties in a program, if you will, that the Office of State Appellate Prosecutor handles the appeals that come out of the state's attorney's office, the criminal cases that we prosecute, almost every criminal defendant appeals their case or their sentence or some portion of that. And so if the state's attorney's office handled the appeals in-house, our office handled our own appeals, it would require several more attorneys on staff to handle the appeals, and appeals are very, they're heavy on brief writing and academic, and it would be a totally different skill set. It wouldn't just be like the prosecutor handling their own appeal. So the board that coordinates this program for counties that participate in the appellate prosecutors program. They look at the population of a county and basically invoice a county. We pay $37,000 to participate, which is a huge steal because, like I said, it would require many more attorneys in the state's attorney's office to handle the appeals. So I'm sure that some of you remember this from years past, but that's the gist of this annual appropriation, is to pay our portion of the fee for our office's use of the appellate prosecutor.
This is obviously a great use of resources for what we get from it, given that amount of money doesn't typically go real far. So any questions for Jenny on this? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, ayes have it. We will move on to our committee action for review of executive session minutes. Can I get a motion? Member Williams and Member Renault. Thank you.
It's a recommendation of the state's attorney's office that all previously held minutes continue to be held because the need for confidentiality does still exist, and to go ahead and destroy the executive session audio recordings that are more than 2 years old, except for those that relate to pending litigation.
I assume there's no questions. We've heard this a time or two. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. I don't see any members of the public here. Anything for miscellaneous? All right, we will adjourn. Thank you.